early.
Good folks, another episode of Early.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all getting up with us, man. We got a special guest in the building, Marcus, aka Polo. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, brother? How are you?
How are you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man.
Yeah,
I'm blessed
man.
to be here, man. I appreciate y'all having me here.
For sure, man. For sure.
Glad to have you.
Yeah. How's life these days? How's life? Let's start there.
Life is life, man.
like you
know what that be about,
like
man.
you usually do.
Man.
Like life is life, and
So
like God got me in the weight room, but I'm getting stronger.
Hey, hell yeah.
I like that. I like that. That's a big fact. Real quick, man, before we get into the meat of the conversation and everything like that, give people a sense of, you know what I'm saying, who you are, what you do. You know what I'm saying? Most people probably know you from a Great Energy Group and everything like that, but give us a little background into how you got into what you do and things like that.
So Marcus, some folks call me Polo, as you know. I'm one of the co-founders of Great Energy Group, lifestyle event group, kind of, based off like positive energy community. We host a number of events from health and wellness to nightlife, community events, just a number of different things.
Yeah.
How'd I get into it?
Let's start into that.
Yeah,
go ahead, bro.
Basically, we want to get a little preface exactly to say like, what you want, but I like to always, rewind, you know what I'm saying? And take it back, like, I guess several years before you even found yourself in the space that you're at right now. Like, Is this something, the space you occupy right now, is this something you always envision? Is this more so?
Did you always see yourself doing this?
Like, is it like, man, this kind of like, within life, I kind of just seen opportunities arise and I'm like, maybe I should lean into that. And then it evolved into this. I wasn't necessarily planning to be in the position I'm at today.
I mean, I think this is one of those things that's just kind of like a part of the journey type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've not had a bunch of different jobs or roles,
and
things I've done. So I can't say this was like necessarily a part of the plan. I know my purpose. My purpose here is like to serve and to be of value to people around me, and then like bring people together and just like in positive spaces and bringing people together. So it's just kind of like one thing led to the next thing led to the next, and we'll kind of see where it goes from here.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, I wouldn't even take it like, I just heard you mention before we just went live and shit like that, right? We talking about aspirations of where we find ourselves. Somebody from, the Ballers Life school. You know what I'm saying? Like there is moments I'm like,
I think we probably all grew up.
I'm going to the league.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to the league. Like that's the goal, right? And I heard, you know what I'm saying, that you was balling when you was out with like Shepherd and shit like that. So like I'm so curious, because one thing with all athletes, was there like a period with yourself, were you off some like, I'm a ball professionally, or was there like a transition you had to like come to grips with yourself, like, damn, like maybe I'm gonna just switch it up?
This as far as I'm gonna take it.
Or did you spread your eggs and it wasn't all in one basket? Like, you know what I'm saying? You was like, yo, I'm gonna make sure I get this degree and everything like that. I'm gonna make sure I got some plays for myself. Like, how'd that go? That transition itself.
It was never league talk for me.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I actually even had an opportunity to play in Puerto Rico. One of my old coaches.
Word.
I was like,
the league pumping right now. Like the Puerto Rico, this shit going up right now.
I was like, man, after school, I was like, man, forget that. I'm not.
You was over hooping?
Bro, where the bread at?
Bro, I was over hoop.
Yeah.
I got a degree now. It's time to go get a job and get paid.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear that perspective.
Oh my God,
a lot of niggas don't be on that.
That's an interesting perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I came up in the So one of my things was, I came up in like in PG County in a basketball, like the Catholic basketball league. I played in McNamara.
Okay.
So like people I knew left and right was going to the league.
Right. You knew who the one.
I grew up with.
Did
guys.
You know that
those are them ones?
Did you know that you weren't league bound?
Yeah,
you were a hell of a player, but you knew.
Go-go.
Yeah. Oh.
I was in the go-go.
Were you like a musician?
Yeah, I played the keyboards for XIB.
Oh,
Yeah. I played.
YouKnowPolo.
Yeah, I even just posted
I'm
something
slow.
about
I'm slow right now. That's
if
crazy.
you look at the last picture on my gram, I'm wearing our 1 year anniversary tee from XIB. That's a real live
Damn,
thing.
it's so man.
This
is kind of crazy, bro.
Niggas
Because
was on
like
Go-Go Central.
I was such a go-go head when I was in high school, but I wasn't like, I grew up around this area that we're in, and I didn't. It's crazy that I'm getting older and I'm starting to meet motherfuckers in bands that I used to fuck with when I was a kid, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, we just had Walt on here the other day, and I'm like, and this nigga telling me he's doing New Impressions. I'm like, bro, like,
bro.
I'm like, what the fuck?
And it's so crazy because I don't even remember even the retrospect. Like, I remember a lot of my niggas like, oh, we going to the Pearl, we going to the cafe, all this shit. Like, these are moves I wasn't hitting, but I'm like, niggas, these were like, you had to be there. Like,
when we stepped out here, we would be at a VFW or something like that, and I remember all that. But I was in a go-go since I was 12.
Okay.
Like I I'm not that, but like I was outside. Like,
Like,
nah, but you already kind of had a sense of community. Like, I know where I'm at. I know where I belong. Like, this, I'm nice at ball, whatever, but this is secondary shit. Like, I'm on some other shit.
True be told, and this is what a lesson learned, but like God works in mysterious ways, because I was just too busy trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to like run around, be a little like, I had the perfect like Division I, like I had opportunities left and right. But a lot of dudes that was going to camps playing AAU, I was too busy trying to be home so I could go to the shows. So I could be at the CFE,
Mad Chef and shit like this.
You know what I'm saying? Like my brother, like all the way out Thai seafood, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And like and my thing about it was I got used to, but even before that, I, stuff like I've been in theater, act, this little stuff.
Right.
But like I'm used to be like kind of being on stage and being around people knowing you, but like also being around crowds. But also them go-go's wasn't nothing to play with. You had to keep your head on a swivel. You had to know what's going on, who was who.
Yeah.
People walk up to you, smile, and try to act like they know you, and then just try, pop up. So it gave you some type, like almost like a paranoia, but like this awareness of like, okay, let me see, keep my back to the wall, head on a swivel.
It's also it's like being in the party, but like not in it, more like above it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like like watching the scene. You know what I'm saying?
You could watch it. We would watch the scene, but we would also like, we would be in it. It was just so seeing it from so many different angles. And from the start of XIB, like I remember, like it's crazy. Like I look at Union Market today, and I see how Union Market looks. I remember when they had the Market Lounge. That was like TOB's main spot because they hood was somewhere, but like a lot of them was from like around there.
Right.
But like the Market Lounge was like, that joint was wild.
Yeah.
And I remember we did our first 21. I was in my first 21 and up at 14 years old because Go-Go's was all ages. But at that Market Lounge party, we got booked and we were all young and stuff like that. But I just learned a lot of lessons about like people, about, how to move, about like, it getting attention or like, just a lot of those things. So, it definitely taught me a lot of lessons, even though like, I was missing out. Like my pops would be like, hey man, that go-go stuff, man, you playing, man. I'm like, man, man, I go to McNamara, man. I'm going deep.
Yeah.
Being hard-headed.
Right.
But just I learned so many lessons from that, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that because I learned, okay, cool. Like, bro, you have to focus on what matters. And like all that other stuff don't matter.
When did you have kind of that realization?
And do you have examples of that within your life? Like, are you seeing like, damn, like, all right, that's exactly like how I'm trying to have that shit go up? Or is it like, nah, this is all off the fly? Like I'm learning trial and error.
Little things like, again, like, yeah, when it comes to, again, I had D1 opportunities, but because I was, trying to be like out at the go-go.
I know what you mean by trying to be cool. It's like you focused on other things. You focus on shorties. You focused on like how can I put myself in a position to look more attractive to other shorties and shit like that. Like
band and I'm in XIB.
I made it.
I'm a local celebrity. When you talking about basketball, I'm already a celebrity here.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
People know me, and I thought that was so cool and high.
You trying to be him? I'm him.
I am him.
And I thought that was so cool in high school, but then when when you show up, it's like, okay, well, like, shout out to, the college I went to. I'm grateful for the opportunity, the people I met, and the lessons I've learned. But I learned some lessons.
Mhm.
And like, you know what I mean? I could have went to another school that, we had better facilities, better coaching, better things, better resources, all these type of things. And like, I could have gained a better network out of college. I could have had the opportunity to like, join a fraternity or do things. We didn't have that stuff in my school. We didn't have a lot of that. I spent a lot of time like alone by myself. It was just nothing to do out there. But like, because it was nothing to do and I needed some money, I started throwing some parties out there.
That's interesting. How does your mind go from I need bread, this is how I'm gonna make bread?
Like you going to parties and the shit dry as hell?
Yeah, like I'm thinking when I was in college and it's like, oh, I needed bread, I'm thinking, where can I go? Like, where can I go work? Like, what can I go do? I'm not thinking that way. So how does your mind work where you think this is what I'm gonna go do for bread as opposed to something else? You know what I'm saying?
That's a big part of kind of how I was raised, is always to like to look for just like be grateful and look for opportunities. Because like when you kind of just like look around, like you got to figure out like what's missing, or like, what's missing, what's not here, what do people need?
I mean, in college, there's no shortage of parties. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's maybe in West Virginia, Shepherd. And again, I've been out there a couple times. Shout out to Theo. Some of my homies went out there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but again, it's like, that's what I'm saying. Okay, party it up in high school if you want.
Yeah.
Then you get to college, ain't no parties going on.
What? That's crazy.
Because it's at the school I was at. I mean, wasn't really no parties. Like it wasn't. It is a very, very small school, and it's a suitcase school. It's a what they call it, a backpack school or whatever. Because people leave on the weekends, and then you have people leave on the weekends.
People going to party in CP. Go
somewhere else.
Only people be left on campus was the athletes, and it's really just all guys. And then it was like, it wasn't no shorties in my school for real.
Yeah,
like, nah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Cause I went up there. It's crazy, man. Speaking of Shepherd, so my guy Theo Conan went up there and we used to like make a show together. So we ended up doing like a documentary on their football team. That's when I met Billy Brown and everything like that out there. Because they had a great team, but then they had like 3 guys who were like NFL prospects. You know what I'm saying?
I mean Trey. I think Trey.
Trey
went to McNamara for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was Trey, it was Billy, and then their quarterback was another nice dude. I'm trying to remember his name, White Cuz. I can't remember his name.
The hair. I know who you're talking about.
But when we went, the point that I'm trying to make is when we went out there, it seemed like a cool place to be. That was my first time being out there. But like, granted, we went a couple of times and we went on game day, but we also went during the week a couple of times. And I'm like, maybe because I had just graduated from college and I was like reminiscent of, you know what I'm saying, being on a college campus. Nothing to do out there.
Like the football game days, it was like cool because it's like everybody here cool.
It's a whole town kind of thing.
It's a little, the town gets involved. And then it was a school where you just drink until it gets fun or
make your own fun.
Exactly. It was that type of place. And so like, it's like those things that kind of like, it kind of grooms you, because if it like you got a choice. Like a lot of people, like some people go out there and be like, oh man, I'm out of here. I ain't, I gotta go somewhere where the fun is at.
Yeah. Right.
But like if you have this like mind, it's kind of like, I'm gonna have to make my own fun some way or another. It's like I'm gonna have to trick myself into like, or figure out something like the smallest things you become grateful for.
Yeah. Right.
And then you turn that into something. And I really think like, I'm just grateful for that opportunity, which is why, I'm like, again, I say, I'm grateful for that opportunity because I'm like, damn, like a lot of people, that went to big schools and had all these different things. Sometimes they're so bored or with like
they take a lot of these things for granted. They take a lot of these things for granted. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, but I want to ask, do you remember the first party that you threw?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like how did that come about?
And did it exceed the expectations, or was it off some like, I need to do this shit again, or like?
So the first party I did, lesson learned. Like, well, put it like this. First party I did, everybody came out.
House party, you book a venue.
What was the vibe?
It was a bar that was it was like the bar that
the local joint, everybody going.
Yeah. The joint called Tony's.
Okay.
At the time, it's shut down now, but like, and I was like, yo, I said to my roommate and his girl at the time, I was like, yeah, we can. I was like, yo, we can make some money, y'all. Like, cause one of the big things about me is I want to get money with the people I'm around, cause it ain't no fun if everybody ain't got, you know, what I'm saying? Like, it's when if everybody get money, then we up.
It's lit.
So like, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, y'all, we can make some money. I bet. You know, you do this social media thing, you gonna do that. I'm like, for the young lady, I was like, yo, you do the you on a cheerleading team, so you could talk, like, you could bring all the girls, you could talk to, like, you know, bring all your cheerleaders and they, you know, tell them to tell people. So we're gonna do it like that. I set up a meeting with the owner at the time. I was just like, hey, I think we can, you know, do something and bring some people in. Right. I ain't know what I was doing. I was just like, I was like, we just gonna do that, and then like you pay us. Like, you know, like, yeah. I've never taken a business class too, so that's another. But like, I'm like, yeah, you pay us. And so we did the jump. So I made I remember I made the flyer. I designed the flyer. I just kind of used whatever thing on my roommate's computer at the time and made something. Had that printed, sent that to a print shop back home. While they were at home, I said, you know, I had them pick it up from the print shop, bring it back out, and I'm walking around passing out flyers. I'm passing out flyers. You know, getting this, that, and the third, but I'm going hard. Like, I'm really like going hard for this. And I the guy who I, you know, had, I was like, he's supposed to do the social media. He didn't end up posting anything on social media. Because I like the fuck you do? Well, because I get, because he played football, and so I'm like, I don't think they were supposed to be. So it was kind of like, you know, with stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm like, bro, you ain't never say nothing to me. Yeah. So like, and then I was like, all right, y'all, you know, we supposed to be on time, you know, can't drink. Like, let's, you know, make sure we, you know, got in, we good. All right, let's show up like that. I show up, you know, like I show up one time.
Like you showing up for class or something.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, I
or an interview.
I want to show like I'm professional.
Yeah,
100%.
You know I get it.
And I just remember they showed up late.
Like they was going to a party.
For real.
Like they was party goers.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, and then the night, you know, popped off and everybody like, oh, she hands me this wad of cash at the end of the night. She just gave me cash. I don't know, you know.
The owner you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know if that was from the bar door, how it all worked.
Yeah.
But then, like, I remember getting that, and we were supposed to split it a certain way, but then I was like, hey, y'all, you know, these duties weren't fulfilled because things didn't happen.
I did everything.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and y'all, we weren't supposed to do this and that. So like, this how we gonna do it. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this percent. And I'm gonna give you that. Still even something. Yeah. For like really nothing.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
they got mad at that.
Oh, it was a thing.
Oh shit.
It was a thing. And I'm just kind of confused. And I was like
y'all know y'all didn't do what y'all supposed to do.
I don't understand how this, because then right then and there I felt like why would you I felt like you're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, because why aren't you grateful that I gave you something when you know you didn't do anything?
Because you know you didn't deserve that. But I was just being a good man.
So from that point, I was like, okay, this ain't gonna be able to work. Like, I mean, I just
like the partnership aspect.
Because I was like, I mean, I did this, and I'm like, okay, nobody did anything. But even when I was like, all right, I'm gonna still break this down and do it like that, it was still it was a problem. Yeah. So I'm like, you know, we live together. That's not gonna be able to, you know, really work like that. And so I just was like, it's better off. I'm gonna take it serious. I'm gonna take this seriously and work like a business. Let's be friends, and let's, like, you know, it's no, because if we keep doing this, y'all gonna continue to do nothing, and I'm gonna continue to be over here feeling like, but somebody's bitch or like a slave. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm
compounding the bread on doing nothing. It's adding up.
And so I wasn't with that. Also, another thing I noticed that night is I was like, a lot of people that don't speak to me during the day and during school, even I'm kind of like, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Hey, like, I just
you speak up, like, you're not shy. You socialize.
I'd be shy. I would be shy at certain times, but I'm just a very kind.
But you're not like antisocial.
Yeah, sometimes I can be, but like also at other,
everybody can be sometimes.
Yeah, you know but I would definitely speak. And it was like people like, oh, like little things like that. It was, oh my God, Polo.
Yeah.
Hey. No, yo, Polo. Polo's my guy. That's my fucking bro.
My guy.
That's my fucking
I mean, you definitely sound like Shepherd Town.
Nah, because everybody wanted to get in. And I'm like, oh, it's funny how everybody knows Polo now.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, and so that was just a lesson learned.
But how did you take that? Like, is that a good feeling? Like,
no, it wasn't a good feeling.
Oh, it wasn't a good feeling.
I mean, it wasn't a good feeling because it was like,
y'all fake as fuck.
You knew it was fake. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, of course you knew it was fake, but I'm more like, I guess that recognition of like, I did something. You know what I'm saying? It
wasn't about I did something. It was about you want something.
That part.
Like, it wasn't about the fact that I did something. I was like, because one thing that was I was like, man, I really wanted to do this like with my unit, my team. Like, it would have been dope if we would have been like, y'all, we just did that.
Yeah,
because I'm a big team guy. If you talk to any of my past teammates, college, high school, any team I played on, I'm a teammate guy.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Whatever role I need to play. If I got to be on the bench, the bench finna be live. Like, straight up. I'm a defensive lock. Who's the best shooter? Let me figure out how to get him the ball. I don't need him trying to guard the best player. I'll lock down the best player. Yeah. Like, it's best when like team wins and celebrating with the team and community. It's no feeling like it. You get a bunch of money by yourself or you do something, but you win by yourself. It's like, yay.
You got nobody to share it with.
And the room's just quiet. Like, so yeah, that joint, it was kind of like, it was like I was like, okay, well, it's business time. Time to like figure this out and do it. So, I mean, that was something I would do like I would do it like once or twice a month. But it was cool. And I learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot. And it was just different, like throwing parties in West Virginia.
That's fact.
So how does it feel now? I guess, like, tell us about you getting to the flow of things, holding these events and parties, and then talk about, I guess, your transition back into the DMV. Like, you start taking that experience, and then, like, how's your first event that you throw in the DMV, knowing that you got a network? You know what I'm saying? People already know your shit. How was that like?
So it didn't necessarily just pop off. Like, I came out and I was like throwing, like, I came back home and started throwing events. Okay. Bro, I came back home, started selling personal training at LA Fitness. Okay. That joint was just booty. Like, that was terrible. I was just like, this ain't real. Yeah. Trying to sell this overpriced training to this old, like, this is crazy.
I used to work in the gym, so I know how it go. Like, it's just not it.
I'm supposed to walk,
especially if you're like a good conscious person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm like, they were like, tell them their form isn't right and they could be doing better. I'm like, I don't know that for sure. Like, and I'm like walking up to people. I'm like, this ain't right. They be like, what you know? I'm like, oh gosh.
I know.
They told me to come and say that to you, man.
I'm sorry. Like, please continue.
You got it. You got it. You know exactly what you're doing.
And that's legit how it went, man. And it was kind of funny. So then from there, after that, I got my like first corporate job working in IT. And that was an experience. I was like in an IT sales role. And I just got stuck with like a bad territory. And like I was working so hard. I'd be the first one in the office and the last one to leave. And it wasn't really clicking. I wasn't getting the sales. My numbers weren't hitting. And it was just depressing. Yeah. And then like when I'm every day when I'm sitting at this desk, I'm just feeling like, I'm like, yo, this ain't it. And God don't have you're
supposed to be doing something else. Like, you're supposed to be doing something else.
Straight up, man. And like, for real. And so, I had a lot of support from the people that worked there, like management, and they really wanted me to stay, but I was just kind of like, they was like, yo, we'll get your support with this. I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna exit out. Because I was like, oh yeah, because I was like, because what I was doing was I was about to create an app.
Okay.
I was going to create an app for homeless, and I'm not going to dive too much into that.
Yeah. But are you said you were working this IT sales job. Are you into IT? Like, are you in? Okay. You just kind of saw, again, seeing an opportunity type vibe?
It was more so, it was a good company, like a salary job, first corporate job. And it was it would have been a first, like, great job in a company to grow with. And I definitely learned a lot, like in terms of sales, like it was more like heavy sales, but I learned a lot.
But even in the sense of now trying to think about an app, like that don't like, where does that come from if you're not into?
It was about the need. It was about the need for the people. I'm like, you know, I'm like, well, it would be best formed in an app, but I'm like, I don't know. And so I'm thinking like, all right, well, I got this money saved. I'll get this, and then I'll find
you can find somebody
this person now, and I'll be able to work with this, and I'll be able to raise this money.
Try to be a little Mark Zuckerberg.
Find out real quick.
A little harder than it looks.
Right. Find out real quick.
I'm thinking I'm about to leave out of here and then have this couple of little bucks saved up. Right. And I'm about to really get this thing moving, and then boom. Quickly found myself working security at a club. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Well, like fell on hard times type shit, or just?
No, I mean, it was like so. Well, actually, it's funny because the day I left, so I left on my birthday. This was in 2000 and I think then 15 or 16. No, 2016. 2016 on my birthday was my last day, and so what I did after that is I moved, not moved, but I one of my really close friends, she lived in LA at the time. Right. And she was just so smart and just like, so I went out there. Last day I went out there and just was like out there with her for like a week or two and just was like, just vibing, like really going through the plans, working, feeling inspired, doing all this and that. I get back home from LA to find out somebody stole my car.
Oh shit.
I'm like, yo, I had a little Charger at that time. I was
sick.
And it just took all the air out. I was just like, took all the wind. And I'm like, yo, so what, how am I, because I was going to do this and get like, and it just kind of, it hit me. Then somebody was like, a friend of mine was like, hey, look, you know, this restaurant, nightclub, whatever, they're hiring like a VIP host. You know, I think you'd be great. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I can talk to people. I can be professional. You know, I have a little bit of like kind of party experience, but like I know how to be professional and, you know, and I know people. So yeah, I'll do that. Bet. And they got a night. It showed there was like a little salary situation. I'm like, oh yeah, I can make that happen. Mm-hmm. Oh man, go in to interview for that role. And then it was like, oh yeah, so what's going to happen is we'll just have you start as security, you know, for like the first 2 weeks, just so you understand and know the lay of the land and know how things work. So I'm like, okay, well, all right, 2 weeks and then
when you hear security, are you thinking like, I don't do security? Like security is security. I feel like that's like, and you're not like a small nigga, but
I'm the nigga that be the event. They come for me, like
that's what. But I was thinking that at first, but I'm like, you know, it's a nice place. So and it's just
nothing crazy should pop off.
It's 2 weeks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a training period. Yeah, whatever. Like, okay, cool. And then I start and 2 weeks turned into 3 weeks. It's like something ain't right here. Like.
3 turned into 4.
Hey yo, and then
weeks turned into months.
Like it just turned into weeks, and then I was just like, my attitude was kind of like, man, it was like this, man. They got me fucked up, man. Yeah. Like, man, I got a degree in psychology. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a degree. I came working for this company, man, and also people know me. And then 2, it was tough because I'm at this spot. And now people that I known that have gone to the big schools, had the internships with sororities, fraternities, and things like that. Right. They got these corporate jobs. They making a little money and they coming out and stuff. And I'm like literally getting clowned by people that like, thought we was cool.
Yeah,
and But like what I noticed was it was like, nah, it's just jokes. And it was like, nah, that wasn't just jokes. Nah, you really trying to like, I'm over here. They top flight security.
Of
like
course,
literally, I'm at the front. The line is here. People going past, and then I'm watching how people treated me. Just as like, it's like, man, just move like this. Like I'm like watching how just people, and I was like, that's wild.
Mm-hmm. Seeing that perspective,
I'm like, yo, that's really wild. People like treat people. Yeah, like I'm just like, but like also too, and then you know one of the managers he was saying he was like, man. He was just like, yo, be happy.
Said it to you?
Yeah, he's like, yo, he's like, fuck you mad for? Like, really, like, what are you mad about? Like, he was like, yo, you can see me, you can hear me, you can walk, you got up here, you were able to drive here, you have a working job where you're able to You need to be, and it was like, you know what? Fuck them people. Like, and going back to this kind of shepherd mindset of being grateful, like for the things that you do have. Because what happened was, after that conversation, it was like, I was like, yo, you know what? You're right. And little comments and things like that, they didn't faze me. I didn't care. It's all good, man. Y'all come on in.
Yeah.
My mindset, my energy, my attitude started to change to every person that I would talk to. Like, then I was, okay, well, let me learn how to, like, and then I was like, you know what? I don't think they're going to try to move me out of security. It's not up to them. Okay, well, I'm gonna learn. Can I serve? I know the menu. Let me take the menu test. Okay, cool. Then on, we had a certain night that, was super packed, all guys in the building, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna station myself as security. I'm gonna station myself behind this bar so I can watch the bartender. And then when the bartender goes to the bathroom, I made a good relationship with him. It's like, boom, boom, boom. Right. And then I was like, okay, well then let me get this link so I can show you how many people I can bring out. Let me talk to people, like let me talk to people. Let me go to people. And when I'm serving, I get to talk to more people. And then after I'm serving, let me do security, or then I can help out with this. Where can I be of value? Like a little
Swiss Army knife.
Bro, I just wanted to
make it work for yourself.
I just wanted to be of value and a service, because I'm like, yo, let me serve for real in some way. Cause like, I'm gonna be valuable. So, it's not like this place ain't got like, as long as I'm of value and service and like, I'm literally putting out the best energy I can. Oh, it's going to be a place for me.
Yeah.
Like somewhere.
100%.
Yeah, not
And so it was just like one of those things where I just kept doing that. And then I noticed, I was like, I was, working, we were working like the brunch. We were working the brunches at that place, and they were not hitting. Like, it just was, the brunches, it was like, it was just
dry,
older folk. I used to call them the blazer brunches, because it was like all the old heads kind of in there. Like, it was just like something like that. But then
it was not the brunch we know today. It was not Liddy in the city.
Right. Nah, not at that moment. So it was to the point where we weren't open. It wasn't even like we were opening on a certain like day, like for brunch on Saturdays, Sundays, and stuff. And so it was another young lady in there. Now my business partner, Gabby. We were like, I was just like, I see the way she moved, the way she carried herself, how she kind of got things done, how she talked to people. She was really good with people. People loved her. Right. And we developed a really great friendship. And then I was just like, yo.
This is around when? What year is this?
This still like 2000. This is 2017, beginning of 2017. Okay. And so mind you, I'm working in kind of different positions. Then I'm like, around some, like, a little bit before like spring 2017, I'm like, I'm like, yo, let's do like, I think we can do something, boom, boom, boom. And she's like, yeah, we can, da, da, da. So we came together and we came up with like Liddy in the City. So what we did was we went and talked to, the owner at that time and told him, say, hey, we're not open here on Sundays. Right. We got this concept. We're going to go and do it at this other place. And kind of kick it off, and
to show y'all proof of concept.
Well, we didn't even get that far. Just kind of like, we're gonna do it. He was like, okay, cool. Because mind you, before that, I'm trying to do everything, so I'm annoying. I'm annoying.
At this point, they're like, all right, Marcus.
So I'm like, yo, hey, so did you know if we do this, right. Do that? They're like, yo, he's not gonna stop. Like, all right, cool. Week. And so then he's like, all right, cool. We do the first joint. It's a hit.
Yeah.
They show up, it's the first joint. It was at a different spot. Right. It's now named another. Well, it was at Red Rocks at the time. Now Focus. Did that joint. It was a hit. He came out. He was like, okay, all right. And then after that, he's like, yeah, what's
I got it.
Yeah, facts.
And so we was like, yeah. So like, let's here. And we did it there we did like 10 or 12 Sundays or something like that. And then as it started to go into cold season, we were like, all right, we want to stop it. That conversation didn't go on well.
You said you wanted to stop?
Yeah, we did.
You said you wanted to stop?
Because ideally, originally what we wanted to do was like a pop-up brunch and go around to different places.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But like,
you didn't want it to be static in one place.
And not only just that, we didn't want to do it. We wanted to be like a fun brunch. So we didn't want to do it through the winter time.
Didn't want anything preventing people from coming out. It's cold.
And that's what, but like the idea of what is like, you know, like summer, spring fun.
It's,
like,
it's a different vibe in the summertime and the weather's nice.
And all of that stuff. And we just had an idea for what we wanted to curate. We didn't even want to like, you know, we were just trying to do that. Like, and it's crazy. Like everything Liddy, I love when it was hot, but we'll dive into.
Oh, that's a
Nah.
Is that a Thugger?
Yeah, that song came out like
it's things that I stamped it. Like, turned up the city, bro. Like, but like, so we did that, and that conversation didn't go over well. So I got fired. Like,
wait, so you wanted to stop, and they didn't want you to stop?
Yeah, because it was.
And then you got fired because of that.
Well,
this is not what you didn't even hire me for this.
It's the brunch or me.
You didn't even hire me for this. That's the crazy shit.
I'm weak. That's crazy.
But it was like I'm so grateful that happened. Yo. Because I'll tell you like this, and I'm grateful for that happen. I was so like angry at the time. I was frustrated. I'm like, yo, how could they? Yo, I done did this. And I brought it. I was so angry, but I'm so grateful because then I'm like, well, I wasn't necessarily. I was comfortable.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily. I wasn't necessarily going to leave. You know what I mean?
Real.
I was just like,
that's real.
Okay, I can do this. And like, mind you, at that time, once we started doing like the brunches and a little bit before that, I wasn't necessarily like serving and all that anymore. I was coming in kind of wearing the suits I wanted to wear.
Okay.
Pulling up late, just talking to girls. But I was like very comfortable. I was too comfortable.
Yeah.
And so when I got like fired, when it was like, all right, well, you know, get out. And I'm like,
they go some get out, like
don't do this to me.
But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that.
I mean, I hear it, but still, like, just to reflect on how it happened is interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Because I think more so of a challenge. Like, okay, cool. You think you so? All right, go ahead. Like, all right.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, so you don't think this gonna work when we bring it back? He said no. I was like, bet.
Yeah. Facts.
Like, and so then I was just like, I was angry, but then it kind of forced me, you know, to go around, figure out like what we could do from there, you know, how we could take this thing, elsewhere and kind of figure it out. And throughout that, and it didn't even just happen at once. Cause again, we didn't start it back up till like the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So like throughout that time, you know, I'm over here, I'm trying to go, I ended up like, I was the GM for like 3 weeks of this place that like only had like 5 customers and never really like opened, and I never actually got paid for that. Like, it was open for 3 weeks, but I was there working through it through like the different stages of like the
pre-opening.
So like 6 weeks I'm doing this stuff, no pay. Then like I found myself, you know, I worked like, you know, I got a job as like a busser at a different restaurant, like a bar back. I was just like trying to put little pieces together and figure out stuff. And like, you know, I was like, well, I kind of noticed that, and I'm just trying to figure out stuff. And then, and then what happened? Oh yeah. Then we did, then springtime came back. And so we went back to the place, the Red Rock spot.
What?
And we did something there. And I remember they did 2 there. They were both hits. And I remember saying that, oh man, no. So yeah, after I left, I did a part. Like when I left, I did a party. It wasn't a brunch and day party. It was actually on the day before Thanksgiving at Red Rocks. The place was, I got a video literally from top to bottom like this. People could not move. I talked to the manager, GM, whoever at that time.
That's what you let go, nigga. You had it all.
And but this is the thing. I talked to them at that time, and see, their service was nowhere on the level of the other place I was at.
Yeah.
So the manager and GM at that time was like, I was like, we're gonna need 10 security because it's gonna be this, and we're gonna need this and that, all this and that. I show up that night, it's 2 security for the entire building.
Man.
I remember there was a huge rat It was on the steps. Because I remember I was about to go up and it was people at the bottom of the step like, oh, and it was people at the top of the steps like, whoa. And I'm like, why ain't nobody? And
nobody in the middle of the steps.
And and they like, oh, everybody's scared. And it's a huge rat. I remember seeing security come run past the people upstairs. And I'm like, I bet he about to handle it. Literally said, you can't make this up. He said, shit, I get paid, but now I don't get paid that much. Goes, jumps over the joint, runs past me. I'm like, what the?
Nigga ran.
I'm like,
how security gonna be scared of the rat though?
And I'm like, this is a safety situation. So I go back to the kitchen. I grab 2 glasses and I have people shine a light and I ended up having to catch it. Cause the reason why I always bring this stuff up, cause I'm like, yo, I did not want to do this.
Yeah, had to.
And so I'm like, cause ain't nobody else. So I
had to do it.
Trapped it in the joint, went and took it out with the bus and we had to let it out back.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that night, and everybody like, oh, bro, you killing it. You just that and the third. But I'm sitting there just kind of like.
This nigga throwing parties. Fuck? This nigga
this should be handled. Why the fuck I just had to do all that?
The exterminator, the bouncer.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, this is not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so wait, were you like upset at the venue or were you just upset at the situation? Like
I was upset.
Were you upset at this point?
I was upset. I mean, kind of like I was a little bit of all of that. And then I was just like, yo, what's like, I mean, do I go ask like do I go say, hey man, you know what?
It's rats here.
What? Like, let me
bad for business.
No, but then when I was upset at the venue is when then after that I explained that and then we did an event late. We did once the brunch season start, like kind of that springtime and we started the brunch here, we did 2 events. And again, there was another situation with security where they were outnumbered. And that was a matter of like staffing and like safety wise, there is no reason where if a venue is of a certain size and you know that you're going to have you need to have a certain amount of security for everyone's safety. I don't like, regardless of just a party, all that shit, I don't play that. Like I'm big on like, yo, let's turn like, I used to party. Right. So let's turn up, but is everybody good?
Right, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? How far can we get? Oh, don't, not that far.
Yeah.
And so something happened, and security ended up like beating up a guy half his size. Mm-hmm. The manager then comes to me and says, "Yeah, well, after it's like, oh yeah, your crowd's too rowdy. You know, we're not gonna. The crowd's too rowdy. We don't want to have you back. Da 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 da." And so then they continued doing the brunch and tried to make it seem
like it was theirs.
Like we were still there and like people.
The spirit was gone.
We had started that thing and we were promoting it and pushing like, yo, we here, this, that, everything. And then what happened was they pulled that and I'm like, wow. And so people were like, oh yeah, well, I'm pulling up today. And I'm like, yo, we're not having to go through and like tell people and people are like, yo, I'm pulling up on you. And it's a lot. So you can't like just tell everybody. It's like, you know what I mean? So having to go through that and like, nah, we're not there. It's not that. That's not us. And people like, yo, I'm here supporting you today. And I'm like,
no, you're not.
You like, and I'm just like, and I just thought that like, it was like petty. And I'm just like, yo, what? I ain't do nothing to you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, y'all, like we brought something in that was good for it. Like,
so it was like a fight. And then they just was like, nah.
Oh, no. Cause it was like,
like a couple fights.
Yeah. I mean, no, it wasn't even a fight. It was because this is the thing. A lot of security places are like, don't know how to properly be security because they try to use muscle. Yeah. And they use a lot of ego.
I was about to
man, ain't nobody about to tell me shit. I'll beat the shit. Like, that's not what your job is to make sure people are safe. Mm-hmm. And so you invite people to drink. And so again, this security guy is big as hell. The guy who he beat up, because the guy had a knot on his head, everything. But the guy is so much smaller than him. That should never happen. 2, you put your security in a bad spot because they have this entire venue to secure by themselves.
That's so not enough of them? It wasn't enough of security?
At all. Yeah. That's like, it's not supposed to happen like that. Yeah. I know how it's supposed to flow and go. If everybody's security's supposed to be comfortable where you got somebody watching your back, he's watching his, everybody's good. You can kind of watch people check to him. You don't got to go. You're not supposed to break up fights. You're supposed to prevent them. Mm-hmm. When you see things happening, hey, man, hey, what's going on, man? My name's Marcus. Y'all good? Can I help y'all?
Yeah.
Letting you know I see you. But, yeah, so that's how that happened. And I was like, I felt like that was that was kind of a setup for it to be something. So it was like, let's move them out so we don't have to pay them, but make it seem like, because then they started promoting their brunch and day part, which I'm like, y'all don't. And
y'all wasn't doing that.
Exactly. And people were trying, and I'm just like, yo, I told you. I did a whole walkthrough and told you, like, say, we agreed that we would have X amount of security, this here, that here. None of that was the case. But that's, learning lesson.
Yeah.
Learning lesson. You got to get that stuff down and all that.
I feel like, does that happen pretty often where, you know what I'm saying, you're going through doing the walkthrough and kind of terms are being agreed upon and then that shit just doesn't get fulfilled the night of? Because in the couple of events I've thrown, like content wise and shit like that, I've seen that shit happen. You know what I'm saying? So you doing this shit for years and years, like how often do you run into shit like that?
That's what I was telling you earlier. It happens all the time.
Yeah, you did tell me earlier.
You dealing with people who like, they really don't like, they look like certain people you go in, because when you going into somebody else's venue, sometimes with certain people, they feel like, well, this is my spot and you ain't gonna tell me. And I this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, there wasn't nobody trying to do that. I'm trying to do my part. Yeah. And we can all eat. But like, not everybody sees it that way. Some people feel like, we got to do this. And it's ego. And it's like, you know what? That's all good. God got something better. Like, God gonna handle it.
I be thinking like it's not even necessary. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you go about getting that shit back established again? How you talk about, you know what I'm saying, that Young Thug reference came in at, I guess, at the perfect time and like catapulted this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how were you able to just leverage your situation that you had after that moving forward? I mean, from that, it was just a matter of like, we, trying to go to different spots and trial and error. Like, we went to some different spots, did some stuff, brought a lot of people. Then it was like, man, we ain't make no money here. Then like, I mean, it looked lit. Everybody like, man, you so lit. But I'm like, dang, we paid, like, we got all these expenses.
Yeah, don't make sense.
And it don't, or it's like, now this is
not really doing this again like this.
And then we came across Law Society. And that, cause I like going like different spots and stuff like that. But I came across there and I was like, y'all aren't open on Sundays. And they was like, yeah, well, I mean, we tried it before and this, that, and the third. I was like, I know somebody else who has. I was like, you mind if we try something? It was one of those things, we might as well try something. And it was a little tough trying to get in it first because, people which y'all young, y'all don't know this, that, and the third. And a lot of times it's a lot of ego because you got people in here who's 40 and up and they like trying to tell you how young you are. But I'm like, yo, I've done so many of these positions. I've been trained by some of the best. Like, I'm not, I'll work hard and I'm not afraid to do the job that needs to get done.
We're naive. I know what's required. Like,
and people hate when you come in that place because they be like, "Well, let me tell you something."
We know. And this place is different. I know how it works here. It's not gonna work like that here.
And they be like, "All right." And so we had to fight, scratch big to end up doing something. Did something, worked out. Did something again. And they was like, "Oh, well, this is our biggest day."
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of we would go from there. But like, I mean. With that situation, it was like they didn't have the whole. Weren't doing hookah at the time. They didn't do bottle service. They didn't do, some of these things. They didn't do a lot of that, and it was just like, well, I've seen some of these things, and I know some people that's, doing some of this, and I know how that goes. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And so me and my business partner, because at that time, she ended up leaving the spot we were at before, where she was working at.
So did she, when you got fired, she didn't get fired?
She didn't get fired. She just kind of finished out a little time and was like, all right, y'all.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Easy. But yeah.
But you know what I want to ask you?
Huh?
I don't know if you were, there's more to that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to ask, bro, like, from your vantage point, what makes a good party? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes y'all's parties versus whatever that venue would do when it wasn't working for them or something like that? Like, what, like, not to, you know what I'm saying, no pun intended, but like, what energy do you bring to it that kind of changes what, you know what I mean? Like, what's different about y'all?
I'm a server. Like, the party ain't about me. It's your party. It's your party. It's not about me. Are you having a good time? What's wrong? Like, how can I make it better for you? When I was a server, like, I say this, like, I'll go, like, I kind of get to the point sometimes where almost like, I'll talk shit to like certain. I'm like, man, I dust y'all ass.
I'm a better server than you.
Like I'm a better security because I used to get tipped. I used to get tips like as security. I used to get serving. I used to get big tips. People used to ask to sit in my section, all that stuff, because it wasn't about, man, Mark, well, hey, what y'all need? All right, well, they ain't spending no money. They ain't tipping. I'm about to give you this experience. Hey, folks, how you doing? My name's Marcus. I'm gonna get y'all started off with this. Do we have any allergies? Have I seen anything? I'm going to. That's
like, who is this nigga?
I'm
like,
going
this
to
nigga
play
just
that role.
But you know, one thing I always like speak on, like where there's a lot of value in is having a perspective of knowing all the roles that's like comprised to actually
too many
make
people
happen,
be
right?
like, oh, this is who I am. Like, I'm gonna be me at all times. And it's like, it's not about not being you. It's about also playing into making an experience, like stepping out of yourself and what does this person want? Like, what would make this person's experience lit?
And you also know the standards that's required, right? Because you can fulfill all these type of roles within your journey and then also realize now you get into a point where it's like, yo, I want to delegate these roles. I'm not the best at these roles, but guess what? I know it's required because I have done them. So now when I go to look for people, it's not really we're going to see what's up. It's like, no, this is the rubric. If you meet that shit, then you the person for the job. Like, you gonna get the shit unless proven otherwise. But you can't finesse me. I know what's required.
But when you say it's not my party, it's your party, it's thousands of people's in there. You know what I'm saying? So like, how are you, like, whose party is it? Like, how you making everybody feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
everybody wants the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's thousands of people you're doing this shit in front of.
Everybody,
you know? Of course.
So like, people, I done been cussed out, thrown drinks at, swung on, this, that, and the third, all that, and you gotta duck that jump. You gotta end and say, all right,
I think you dropped your drink.
You gotta drop your drink, sir. You gotta learn how to walk away. But like, that shit is like, bro, you get women be like, and people think, oh man, ladies and stuff. Bro, it ain't no fun when you walk around. Women grab your ass, grab your dick. Like, that shit is sexual assault. Like, that shit plays on your mental. It's like, to refrain and just be like, man, I'm gonna need you to
control yourself.
That's wild. Because how would you feel if a random stranger came up and did that? Yeah. But like, you just gonna be like, you just do your best at like whatever experience you can. When you see something, say something. And a lot of times, some people won't. That was a big thing with like me and my business partner, because it was like, yo, we would see things and we also knew people weren't going to do it. So it's all right, come on, Gabby, let's go get it. And we'll do it. We'll grab the bucket. We'll take the bottle. Give me the broom. I'll fix it. Because then maybe if I start doing that, then maybe you say, oh, snap, well, why are they doing my job? Because you're not doing it. I need some of your check. But like, so when we talk, then do your job. And then because also too, we're not here because we buds and pals.
Here to do a job.
Work. Yeah, get a job done.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
But we can have fun while we do it.
And you know what's funny? The environment that you're in, that can kind of get skewed. Like, yeah, I'm here to do a job, but I'm in the middle of a party. You know what I'm saying? So if I invited my friends to this party, like on some like, yo, come check me out tonight, this is where I'm working, that type shit, it's very easy to get caught up in, well, you know, I'm just talking to my homie for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but if you had a 9-to-5 job, you invite your friend. I mean, you
not. But I'm saying, like, most of the 9-to-5 jobs, you're working in a grocery store or some shit. Like, it's not a place where you would want to invite folks.
But even
where it
would
be popping.
I wasn't. See, the thing about it was I didn't. And at a certain point, it wasn't that I was trying to invite my.
Oh no, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like people that would work for you, people that would work in those roles that you would have to go and maybe pick up the slack for.
Oh no, and they didn't necessarily work for. They would work for the venue and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm help. But when you say like,
when I'm saying like, if you encounter these people who they're not doing their job the best that they can, it's like I feel like. It's easy to, when you're working in nightlife, it's easy, not if you're the one throwing the party, but if you're one working the party.
Yeah.
It's kind of easy to
chill out.
Yeah, be lackadaisical because, you know, you're in the midst of a party.
That's the name of the business. Like that's the name of the business. Cause like, this is the thing. A lot of people are new to it. Again, I've been in them go-go's for a minute. You know, Shy Glizzy played in XIB with me.
Oh, word. I didn't know that.
Like, I played in a band with 3 Old Black.
Yeah.
Like, before XIB, we was in a garage band, like and something like that.
That's crazy.
But like the thing about it is, I just bring up those. It's like I am not like, and I played basketball. I've been on stages. You've
been around this shit for too long to be.
I'm not new to this.
Yeah, you're not gonna get like enthralled by a lot of activity, hyperactivity, a lot of excitement, you're gonna still stay locked in what your job is.
And because that's the focus. Now, again, sometimes you're human, then you have some shots.
Marcus, take a shot.
But like I like, but also too, I used to party. Like I used to party high school. I used to, and the Shepherd, again, we used to drink.
Yeah.
So like I could drink at parties and be locked in, focused, not like, I could drink and then, hey, take a shot, and then da-da-da-da. I could party with people, hey, da-da-da, take a shot. And then I'm working, I'm constantly moving. And like, because one, I did those jobs that people didn't want to do and I was laughed at. So I'm like, okay, I know how to do this. I know what needs to get done. And two, I had been around like a lot of people and been around in a lot of those situations before. So I was like, okay, I have some, I have a little experience, but still, bro, it was so much more for me to learn. Like, so much more for me to learn.
But before we wrap up, man, definitely want to ask you, as far as, I think Bruke kind of touched on it, but as far as like Great Energy Group, what are things that people can expect in the near future? Like we're right in the throes of spring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is y'all time. Summertime, springtime. So what are some things that people can expect coming up?
Man, honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
You say get your calendar out.
Like, I mean, not even like we got some dope events going on. Like we got some dope events lined up, but like I'm just like there's a lot that like we're like battling and kind of going through this behind the scenes that like people have no idea. Like I don't know if y'all know, like we do like brunches we've done brunches and day parties at the wharf at both places at the same time, and it's like we do a lot of stuff that like people don't do and haven't done, and it's kind of like it's like. And
it just kind of gets overlooked.
It gets overlooked big time. Or it's like, and like I'm proud of my team, and like we deal like I said, God got us in the weight room right now, and so we're focused. We got some, the brunch day parties coming back, and they're coming back even bigger. We're focused on elevating the situations that we're at. We have some like new events and just new things that we want to roll out. But I feel like it's a lot more that it's because of some of the things that we're kind of dealing with and going through that, like, folks don't see. I feel like it's like a bigger blessing on the way, but I'm not, to be honest, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's real,
like
man.
What's going to happen, but I'm grateful.
I appreciate that transparency, man. You got to let people know it ain't all roses, man. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go through shit to get over shit. And it's like, that's really the throes of being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make shit shake. But it's like at the same time,
shit is not easy.
Niggas gonna see it through.
And what's funny? Like, I think for me, I really appreciate seeing that side of the thing, seeing and hearing about that side of things, because I think we're in a age where everybody makes everything look so easy. You know what I'm saying? Having run a company myself and like building my own company, I'm starting to realize, I've realized for a long time that this shit is not easy. It's not all the glitz and glamour that people see on the social media feeds and shit like that. And I think it's, you know what I'm saying? There just needs to be a little bit more like candidness as far as what this shit really takes. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be good at it, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody can start something and stop something. You know what I'm saying?
I would tell you straight up right now that, I mean, that's a big part, because a lot of people think like what we do is easy. They're like, oh, well, you just
throwing a party.
You just throw a party, and that's
make a flyer, put it up there.
Make a flyer, you put it on Instagram, and you just show up here, and everybody's here. It's so easy for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, we be working.
Yeah.
Like so much, and it's like a lot of things you don't see. There's so much stuff that we have done for free, or we've worked for free. We've put in money. Things we're saying, people said, oh yeah, this is all a go. And then people will pull
the rug out.
All of that stuff. And then our job is to still show up.
Act like it didn't happen. Act like it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all pull up the front, like, and low key behind, I'm like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, damn, they done taking us a couple of bands. Like, and
you just have to like smile through it. At least on the outside. But then once the party's over, you got to go back to trying to figure that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So
yeah, that shit's crazy. Yeah. But bro, appreciate, you know what I'm saying, the conversation. And I will say, bro, so like I mentioned briefly earlier that we used to throw those parties for Time to Cuff with you at Law Society. Everything that this man is saying about being like a team player and really trying to make sure everybody is good, I can attest to, bro. Like those were some of the dopest events that I've ever been a part of, bro. Like those were great times. You know what I'm saying? So definitely appreciate everything that you did to make that shit happen. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about it on this show a lot, but it's dope to like have the person that was actually like behind 100%. It on the show. You know what I'm saying? Sit down and talk with you. So I appreciate you coming through.
Let folks know
appreciate you sharing everything. And yeah, go ahead. Let people know where they can follow and keep up.
Y'all can follow me on I guess Instagram. That's what well, TikTok. Well, Instagram, YouKnowPolo. Follow me on TikTok. If you say that now.
TikTok is the place to be.
Move with Marcus, but you can follow the brand Great Energy Group on both Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can follow Liddy in the City Tour on Instagram, Twitter, and we on Instagram and Twitter.
So facts, man. With that, man, Marcus, appreciate you coming through. Everybody appreciate you getting up with us.
Man,
that's gonna do it.
Early.